imagine your husband or wife going out for drinks with other girls, guys, and literally almost sleeping with them and coming back and telling you, oh, I almost slept with that girl. Then proceed to tell you that that's not cheating. Because I haven't slept with her, I haven't cheated yet. That's just the tip of the iceberg of today's story. Welcome back to another episode of Nobody Asked. So, I've stumbled across this Korean TV show, which is called Divorce Camp. It's where couples who are basically like bound for divorce go on the show just to talk about their problems with professionals and get help to see if their marriage is savable or not. The episode that I watched and is covering today covers a couple whose nickname was Cheating Couple. Now, before I start the story does involve verbal abuse, depression, and events related to suicidal thoughts. So if you're not up for it, by all means, that's okay. But if you're up for it, grab your popcorn because we're in for a hell of a ride. So this is an hour snippet from the episode. This snippet started from the wife talking to a professional. I think it's a psychiatrist. He was trying to talk to her and trying to find the root cause of her depression. And she said that one of the root causes, the main causes of her depression is when her husband cheated on her after they were married 7 months. Literally, this man married this woman 7 months in and cheated. And it hurt her so much that she had suicidal thoughts. And her husband then confirmed that that was the first time she attempted to unalive herself. And this is what her husband said. He explicitly said in the interview that her first attempt was on the same day that he cheated. And he simply said that he was sorry and thought maybe she just wasn't loved enough. Fast forward to the current time, the wife confronted her husband about this incident and about how his actions made her feel like she wanted to die. And the husband basically said, my wife even said she wanted to die, so I guess it's cheating. Now, here's what happened. They had a fight. The husband was like, oh, we fought. I need someone to talk to. So he went into open chat. And there was one of the girls that posted on the open chat saying, hey, I'm looking for a guy to drink with. He texted her. They set up a time. They met up at a place, had dinner. And an hour later, they ended up in a motel. This is how he explained the situation. We were drinking and talking, and one thing led to another, and we ended up in a motel. You don't just randomly and accidentally end up in a motel. Literally, you would have to walk to the motel, pay for the room, or pay after, I don't even know, and put in the key card to get into the room, then proceed to do whatever you're doing. So I don't think it was like, oh, I accidentally walked into a motel room with this girl. Why am I British every time I do an impression? As we can see, there's already intention there that he wanted to cheat. And then he said, we were lying down together and started to get physical. We're about to be completely naked, and then suddenly I was overcome with guilt. And this was freshly 7 months after they got married. So according to him, when he felt that sudden guilt, he ran out. He said sorry to the girl. He ran out, came back to his wife, and he isn't a good liar. So he was like, oh, she's going to find out anyways. So he came back, walked into the room, and was like, oh, honey, are you okay? Talking to the wife, sweet talking her. And she already felt that something was off because of how nice her husband was. And also, there's perfume scent. His work ends at 5 p.m. and he got back home at 7 p.m. So basically, if we look at the time frame, okay, 5 p.m., his work ends, and at 6 p.m., he is at the motel. So it took him within 1 hour to get to know this girl, finding out that they clicked on, and for him to be drunk, ended up in a motel at 6 p.m. and got home at 7 p.m. And the show then interviews him about, oh, like, what do you feel? He doesn't feel anything. He doesn't feel any guilt, any remorse. He just thinks that it is definitely not cheating because they didn't sleep together. Literally, the fact that he just walked into the motel should be cheating already, but he was like, actually, no. Our clothes were almost off. It technically wasn't cheating, and you're just being delusional. And the wife obviously was pissed off, and she didn't believe whatever her husband was saying. So she basically told her husband to bring that girl and we're going to have a talk. So 3 of them had a talk about what happened in that bedroom. And the story matches. She just fell into depression and it was just not a good time for her. So from that, the wife seemed to have accepted that, oh, maybe her husband didn't sleep with this girl. She prepared for the divorce. She got the papers ready. Just needed her husband's signature. But she got pregnant. So she was like, maybe this is redemption. Maybe this is a a sign that we're gonna be okay. Divorce paper was never really served to him, and he never really knew about the divorce paper up until the show. Unfortunately, she had a miscarriage, and then she proceeds to tell us that actually, when I was pregnant, he also cheated on me 4 times. And I think when I was watching the show, it was so confusing because there's so many girls involved. One of the things that the wife said was when she was pregnant with their kid, the husband cheated on her multiple times. And one of the times he was getting close with a female colleague, you know what he ranted? Oh, my wife this, my wife that. Basically just bad mouthing his wife. They got along because of that. He came back to the house, literally also tell her, why did I marry you? It would have been better if I married like a pretty Korean woman. It would have been better if this girl had my baby, not you. And mind you, his wife was pregnant with his baby at that time. Imagine being pregnant with all the hormones, with everything just being too much for you, and your husband says this to you every single day. And the colleague's name has popped up so many times that she was like, are you sure it's nothing? And it's like, it's nothing. But also like, why am I married to you? She could have my baby. And that was during her pregnancy, which unfortunately resulted in a miscarriage. We fast forward to now. They're talking about this issue, and the wife brought up the situation, and the husband basically said, oh, that was just emotional cheating. That's not cheating at all. Listening until now, do you know this is just 11 minutes into the video? Like, I paused the video so much just because I was pissed off at how he was talking, and he just had no remorse in his face at all. Literally, he just genuinely thought that whatever he did, it was not cheating. It was not harmful and hurtful to his wife, and that he is absolutely in the right every single time. He also explained to the show that the reason why he was doing all this, why he was saying all these words, was when she was pregnant, she was very hormonal and said hurtful things, which, yes, you should not say hurtful things. But he did all these out of revenge and said these hurtful things just to get revenge. A grown-ass man taking revenge on his pregnant wife just because she is emotional. The emotions that came from being pregnant. I don't understand. And in the show, the way they're sitting is like a U shape. So the MC sits in the center, the wife and the husband sits in opposite side, and there is a family affairs investigator just next to the wife and the husband. When he was telling his side, the family affairs investigator was like, please, just stop. Please just don't say a word, and please just shut up, because the more he says whatever he was thinking, the more horrible it seems. It just shows how he is just not very much tuned into whatever his actions' consequences were. After that all happened, I'm not sure in the years or the time, but during their relationship, he also contacted another girl that he had a crush with in high school. He was talking to her and he was calling her. It got up to a point where they were calling at 1 to 2 a.m., just like, on a call. And you know where this guy takes the call? In the freaking bathroom. He literally walked into the bathroom and had a call with a girl while his wife is literally there. And the wife asked him, like, what do you guys talk about? He just says, oh, just updates. Just how are you? How are you doesn't last like 30 minutes. You ask how are you in the morning, and that's good. You don't call at 1 a.m. and say, hey, how are you? And you know what's crazy? He actually told his wife that actually, this girl that I've been on a call with, she's actually someone that I really, really, really liked in the past. And I thought I was going to marry her. And I would be so much happier if I were to marry a pretty Korean woman. And the thing that triggers me the most is that I have to pause so many times because this guy, when he tries to make sense, he would use English in his sentences. Mainly their conversation is mostly in Korean because the wife is also fluent in Korean and the husband does speak a bit of English, but it just triggers me so much because he's like, okay, let me just read it out. So this is where they're confronting each other. And the husband basically shifts the blame onto the wife, saying that she was the one creating the demon because the wife was asking, oh, if you're such a good husband, why do we have such a horrible marriage? The husband basically said, the devil lives in her mind.
당신 차라면 왜 우리 이 문제 너무 많이
악마는 네가 만든 거야. The devil lives in your mind.
You're the one creating a smaller problem into a bigger problem, which it doesn't have to be that way. Yes, I was emotionally cheating. Yes, I was calling with a girl at 1 or 2 a.m. Yes, I did all of that, but I, in the end, have not cheated at all. So you're the one making the problem bigger. I will put the link of this episode underneath the description box so you guys can go and see on your own how it is. That 1 hour episode felt so long. And that's not even the whole picture. He also body shames his wife. Previously, the wife weighed almost 150 kilograms and she lost weight to about 70, 80. And that's when she met her husband, which is already a huge amount of work. Like, you literally lost half the amount of your body weight. Despite everything that she has done, you know what the husband said? The husband said, do something about that stomach. Lose those elephant leg. I swear, if someone tells me that, I will literally use my elephant leg to just smack you across the world. Yeah, I can. The husband would just say these hurtful things just to hurt his wife to a point where she loses confidence. Like, she was weighing herself every day. And when she said, oh, I gained 1 kilogram, and he basically said, oh, because you had that chicken just now. This woman was working out almost every day in every gap that she could have. And she was eating less than 1,000 calories. And her husband is still belittling her for her efforts in trying to lose weight, that she hasn't been doing enough, and saying that he was embarrassed to be next to her for their entire 6 year of their relationship, and that he has lost interest in having physical affection with her. If there was a war for husband of the year, is there one for the opposite? Because he would definitely win that. So yeah, that's just how the marriage is and how the husband is treating her. In everything that the husband did, and everything that I've explained to you, the husband does not feel any remorse, does not feel that he has done anything to be blamed in this relationship, and that the wife is more to be blamed because he would have been better if he married a Korean woman. He would have been better if a Korean woman had his babies and this prettier colleague of his had his babies instead of his actual wife who is actually pregnant. So with the show, the name is Divorce Camp. So they go for a retreat. They go through these tests to see how they feel. I reckon that this part that we are seeing is basically the interrogation part. After the interrogation part, they coupled up with the family affair investigators and talked about whatever is going on and how the divorce would be if there were to be divorce and how things will settle. And they also put the couples through a lie detector as well. With the lie detector, so they basically write questions for each other that they want to know. And the question for the wife from the husband was if she ever downloaded dating apps while they're together, while they're married, and talk to other guys, which she said no. She passed the lie detector test with flying colors. But it's not the same for the husband, because when it was his turn, he was asked if he had had sexual intercourse with a woman other than his wife during the marriage, during the relationship. He said no, absolutely not. Did he pass? That's a good question. He did not pass. The lie detector basically said he was lying, that he did indeed slept with another woman, despite him saying over again that nothing happened to the wife. And laying out a couple facts, the husband does have ADHD symptoms, and research have suggested that ADHD symptoms could interfere in the test results, making it false. But that is just a small amount of percentage that it will be wrong. And also, lie detectors are about 90% accurate. So there is that 10% possibility that it could be faulty. And you know what he did? The husband basically said, oh, it's the 10%. You got to believe the 10% that the test is at fault. And basically, every couple, there's a couple couples in the episode as well. They all took the test. They answered it to whatever questions they had, and it was accurate. Every single couple was accurate, apart from just him. And he was like, oh, yes, that was the 10%. I'm the 10%. The test was faulty. Like, I didn't lie. I didn't sleep with other women.
The stupid machine, yeah?
Tama, everyone else's came out normal, and they agreed with it. Yours is the only one that you disagreed.
He felt attacked, and he blamed the so-called stupid test and had the nerve to say, this is what triggers me. He said this in English. Still, heaven knows that I'm innocent.
Still heaven knows that I'm innocent. Yeah.
Oh, 그래? Where's the evidence?
And he's still riding on the 10% chance that the test could fail. When the wife pointed out at his reaction to the test being as such, he defended himself. The wife pointed out that he was defending himself. He got pissed off. And yeah, that was a moment when she realized that she can't stand being lied to for 6 years. She has been hurt for 6 years, but being verbally abused, verbally manipulative, it's just tough to be in that situation. Imagine just having no one to rely on except for your husband, but then your husband is like this person. That's like a recipe for disaster. Now, the show ended up with an open conclusion. No one knows what happened. Did they get divorced? No one knows. But last year, he went on a show called Ask Us Anything, and the MC literally is the same person from that show as well. So he was asking this husband, oh, like, what's your status now? The status is they're still married. And he came out to apologize nationally to say, I'm sorry for disrespecting my wife. He said this, previously I spoke disrespectfully to my wife and made comparisons, but now I don't do that at all. On weekends, I often go out with my wife and son and talk over tea with my wife at night. My wife has also significantly reduced her suicidal impulses and is doing well. I don't know what the relationship actually is behind the scenes, behind the camera, but I hope it's going okay. I hope it's not just for the show. It's not just, oh, I'm going on the show, let me just apologize. And I'm hoping they're happy because they successfully had a kid together. So I'm hoping the kid grows up in a loving family. So that is the story of the cheating couple from divorce camp. I fully 100% believe that he cheated on his wife and the lie detector test was correct and not faulty. But yeah, thanks for tuning in on this episode. And as usual, you didn't ask for the story, but you're absolutely welcome.